An itchy scalp, does it have an impact on hair loss? Let's get into it. An itchy scalp. Is this a problem for hair loss? Is it something that you need to be concerned about? And I say yes, because realistically, there's never a time that an itchy scalp is a good thing. And the reason for it is that there are so many microbials living on your scalp. Fungus, bacteria, Demodex, these little tiny parasites that actually feed off of the sebum inside your hair follicle. All of these things can actually cause itching. Now, those are just the things living there. When you've got other scalp conditions, inflammatory scalp conditions like even dandruff, seborrheic dermatitis, psoriasis, these are not things that you want to be dealing with. They're something that oftentimes will result in flaking. And in the case of seborrheic dermatitis, that will actually cause enough inflammation where you're going to lose hair. I've seen some of the worst cases of seborrheic dermatitis that I've ever even heard of and that I've personally assisted in managing, and it is just a bear to deal with. Psoriasis, again, is a scalp condition that actually doesn't lead to hair loss, but it is really uncomfortable and it's tight, and when it's really inflamed, it can actually weep and ooze pus. It's unfortunate. Now, these itchy scalps can play a role in hair loss and some cannot, but ultimately, if your scalp is itching, you really need to find a solution. Even so far in certain actual hair loss conditions like alopecia areata, which is causing extreme baldness in a circle pattern, these things will inevitably, again, cause itching in certain respects, and that's not good. So how do you deal with it? Well, a lot of times itching, when you're dealing with the microbial issue, again, fungus, Demodex, bacteria, these are managed by getting your nutritional levels correct. So your scalp is sort of the last line of defense when it comes to your immune system and dealing with certain things. So you want to make sure that your nutritional levels are good. So that means there's only a handful of things that really play a role in how your scalp is going to be managing your hair growth and scalp condition. One of which is vitamin D3, another is zinc, and then another is actually ferritin and iron. So you want to make sure that you've covered the bases and you've gotten some blood tests to ensure that your optimal levels are actually present in those particular key nutrients. If those levels are optimal and they're not when you started the scalp itching, oftentimes about 70% of the time, by getting your nutritional levels optimal, that itching will stop. And also the inflammation will stop, ultimately leading in a reduction in hair loss. So clearly getting those blood levels good are possible and easy to do, which will result in decreased shedding and actually oftentimes substantially more hair growth. And when you're dealing with inflammatory scalp conditions, you really need to manage what you're doing to your scalp. You need to use the right shampoo and you really need to use the right conditioner. You really shouldn't be putting any oils on your scalp, like jojoba oil. Sometimes people are using peanut oil. These things are problematic and they will actually encourage the growth of bacteria and fungus. So you need to make sure that obviously that is not being done. If you're going to put anything on your scalp from an oil perspective, it better be castor oil or extra virgin coconut oil, and make sure that it's not on your hair or your scalp for longer than 45 minutes. And when you're done, obviously applying it to your scalp, wash it out and actually shampoo twice and then condition, and do that no more than 3 times a week, because ultimately, again, it can breed more fungus and bacteria. So get blood tests. You can actually see the bio below and get the actual full blood panel that we recommend here in the United States. And then when you get those results back, you can then obviously treat those. Our universal vitamin for that type of hair loss is actually the follow growth vitamin. So you might want to just go ahead and start with that vitamin first if you're not on a hair, skin, and nail supplement, because I designed that specifically for inflammation-driven inflammatory conditions that are also dealing with a nutritional component. And ultimately using the right shampoo and conditioner. I'll have my recommendations below for that as well, which is the hair stem shampoo and conditioner, or in the future an alkaline shampoo. But ultimately you have to deal with that scalp itching, because it is going to lead to a problem. The longer it persists, typically the worse things are going to get, and you don't want to be using products that are resulting in itching, because that is just a sign of inflammation and a sign of something going wrong. So I hope that really gives you some good information. If you like this video, please obviously like it below, as well as subscribe to my channel for more tips like this. And know always that I'm happy to help with your hair loss situation.